My name is Michelle Donati, and I'm a Public Affairs Specialist for AAA Arizona. Well, accidents do exist, but they are few and far between, and many people use the term accident when really it's a collision or a crash. If you speak to law enforcement, they rarely use the term accident because the only true time an accident occurs is if there is a mechanical failure with the vehicle. But in 95% or more cases, car collisions and vehicle collisions are completely preventable. So for that reason, AAA and many law enforcement agencies refrain from using the term accident. Instead, we use the term collision or motor vehicle crash. Well, it really depends on if a driver is cited at fault. If you are driving, for example, and you're cited at fault for being involved in the collision, your insurance is going to be responsible for the damages incurred to your vehicle as well as the other vehicle. If another driver hits you, then that process is reversed and their insurance is liable. If they don't have insurance, then your insurance will pay for the damages. If you're cited as the at-fault driver, all insurance companies vary, but it's very likely that your premium will rise by approximately 20 to 40%, and that usually will stick for about 3 years. Well, motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for most age groups. Up until the age of 42, it's the leading cause of death. And there's a lot of things that insurance companies are doing to reduce the number of automobile crashes and injuries and fatalities on our streets. I can't really speak for all insurance companies, but AAA, we are an advocate for motorists, we're an advocate for traffic safety, and so it's something that we specifically are very passionate about. Last year, we actually spearheaded a team to pass a bill in the legislature that created a graduated driver's license in Arizona. Prior to the passage of this bill, Arizona was one of only 5 states that didn't have this type of legislation. And what this new law will do is it'll place restrictions on our youngest and most dangerous drivers. The 16-year-old drivers are twice as likely to crash than any other driver, and they have higher fatality rates. In Arizona, 3 out of 4 times a teen crashes, the person that is killed in that crash isn't the teen driver. It's a passenger, it's a pedestrian, it's a bicyclist, it's someone other than that driver. So for that reason, AAA, we felt very strongly about spearheading those legislative efforts, and the law will go into effect July 1st of this year. And once we're able to prove that the law is effective in terms of reducing crashes, injuries, and fatalities, then we can start to strengthen that law and continue on with our efforts in terms of creating laws or speaking for other issues that affect pedestrians, motorists, bicycles, etc. in Arizona. The penalties for driving without insurance in Arizona are suspension of the driver's license, revocation of your license plate, as well as suspension of your driver's license. And then once you want to go get that reinstated, and once you have that insurance, you're going to have to pay additional charges to have your license plate reinstated, as well as to have your driver's license reinstated. There are many things that AAA is doing to make safer roadways for everyone, really. It's again something that we take we consider to be one of our top priorities as an advocate for over 800,000 motorists here in Arizona. One of our primary efforts, especially considering the fact that teens are the most dangerous drivers, or among the most dangerous drivers, we offer a program called Dare to Prepare. It's a workshop for parents and new teen drivers where they can come learn the statistics in terms of national, statewide statistics. We talk about why teens crash, what driver's licensing laws are currently in Arizona, what they will be when this new law goes into effect, how they can reduce their risk of crashing, what types of vehicles they should be driving, ways they can save on their insurance. We go over a number of things. It's essentially a crash course, and the main focus is to open the dialogue between parents and teens. It's a very tricky time when teens are learning to drive because they're in their teenage years, and a lot of times there's a disconnect between their parents and their lines of communication aren't always as open as they should be. So aside from educating parents and teens on the the risk factors that they will experience as a new driver, we also aim to open those lines of communication and thereby create safer drivers among Arizona's newest drivers. I wouldn't say that it's a fantasy in terms of someone watching this program or these types of programs reducing the number of lives lost on our roadways. If one life is saved because someone watched this program, then this program was worth it. Of course, we would like to see as many people, we would like to see zero fatalities, really, in Arizona. And if as many people care about this program or watch these types of programs and can start to change their driving habits and therefore reduce the number of crashes, injuries, and fatalities, then programs like these are certainly worth it. In terms of what we see, people do care. Going back to our driving workshops, we've had over 600 parents bring their teens to these workshops over the last year. Parents realize that teens are risky when it comes to driving. The statistics are not in their favor. So by getting involved as early in the process as possible, those teens are less likely to crash, especially when their parents are involved before they're even getting behind the wheel of a vehicle. Well, the cost of crashes go far beyond an insurance company. Initially, an insurance company is going to pay for the damages to another vehicle. If you are the driver and you're at fault, your insurance company is going to pay for the damages to the vehicle that you crashed into or the vehicles you crashed into, but they're also going to pay the damages for your vehicle. Now, aside from that, there's medical costs associated. There are property damages that are incurred, and so really those increased costs that the insurance companies pay go back into the premiums that everyone pays. So it increases the base premium for all drivers because the insurance company has to recoup those costs that they're paying. And then ultimately, when there are serious injuries, society ends up paying a significant amount of money because when people cannot work, they will have to receive assistance from the government. And if, whether that is a short-term, long-term, or a life-term injury they've sustained, that cost continues for the remainder of their life. And so therefore society ends up incurring a large portion of crash costs. Well, when it comes to insurance, there are several different types of insurance coverages that you'll need. In terms of automotive coverage, there's not only automotive coverage, but there's different coverages within automotive insurance. There's liability, there's comprehensive, there's uninsured motorists. But aside from automotive insurance, there's also life insurance, health insurance, homeowners insurance. These are all products that you need in order to protect yourself from financial, or you need to protect yourself financially. The best way to learn about insurance, whether it be through AAA insurance or through another agency, is to do your homework, to know what you're paying for and what these coverages offer. All insurance isn't created equal, so you want to make sure that you're getting a quality product from a source you can trust. And that's how AAA has built our insurance. We've built our insurance around the 800,000 members we have here in Arizona. We built it to meet their needs. So you should make sure that you can meet with an agent or talk with an agent over the phone. You can understand, you should understand all the coverage, what you're paying for. And in many cases, if you do buy multiple insurance lines from an agency, that will qualify you to receive a discount on your overall insurance policy. The biggest advice that AAA would give to Arizona residents is that the key to a safer traffic mix for everyone is going to take the cooperation of everyone. It's going to take the cooperation of motorists to obey speed laws, to obey traffic safety laws, and to pay attention when they're behind the wheel. Motorists, while they're not the only responsible party when it comes to collisions, injuries, and fatalities on our roadways, motorists are in a vehicle. They're in a 3,000 plus machine that can severely injure or harm someone that is not in a similar contraption. By that I mean pedestrians and bicyclists. But it's also up to bicyclists and pedestrians to make sure that they too are obeying the laws of the road. And in terms of motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians to engage in those activities defensively. So while you can't assume that a driver is going to see you, you should walk defensively as a pedestrian, and the same as a bicyclist. And then too, as a motorist, you can't anticipate the actions of a bicyclist or pedestrian or any other motor vehicles. You should drive defensively as a result. You should always expect the unexpected to happen and be prepared to react in any sort of emergency situation.